when we found out that we were expecting Nomi. We had 2 boys, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, so I had my hands pretty busy. We really wanted a girl, so we ended up doing the early testing, and it came back that she was a girl. We were all super excited, the whole family. And then at about 20 weeks, I went in for just regular testing, anatomy scanning that they do. And that is where I kind of first was introduced to the idea that something might be wrong. I remember her stopping, and she kept checking at a certain area, like on the scan, and I'm starting to get nervous. So she draws me a picture of a heart, and she tells me that her heart looks like it hasn't formed the right way, and she wants to do more testing. It was a lot of up and down. It was like a roller coaster of emotion. I feel like within 2 months, it was, yes, she might have a heart defect. No, she doesn't. Yes, she might. No, she doesn't. And when I had her, everything was fine. It wasn't until the second day, like, you know, they do normal, like newborn testing, exams, they draw blood, they do like these different things. And things started to come back, and things were not coming back normal. They set us up before we went home to follow up with cardiology, so I was heartbroken. I thought that it was all okay. I thought that we were gonna be all right. The day after we go home, we go to our first cardiology appointment. That's when they told me that she would have to have open heart surgery in order to fix her heart.
She's just born. You like, open heart surgery, you know, that's like, what do you mean open heart surgery, you know? Like, you just expect your children to be born the healthiest they can be, and when that stuff, something like that happens, it's definitely hard on you for sure.
She would drink her bottles and she would just be out of breath, and it would be like a task. She would just be sweating profusely like she was literally running a marathon. She would be drenched. At 6 weeks old, she gets RSV, and we're in the hospital for 2 weeks, and it was a lot of that. That was kind of the beginning of our hospital stays. From the recurrent pneumonias, at about 6 months old, she ends up getting diagnosed with heart failure. We are like, we just need to get her healthy. We just need to get her as strong as she could. When we went in for heart surgery, she was 9 months old, and milestone-wise, she was a 3-month-old. She could not sit on her own. She could not roll over. She couldn't hold her own bottle. She was 13 pounds when we went in for surgery. She was still wearing 3-month clothes. It was hard, and I hated to see her like that. We go in at 9 months for the open heart surgery, and this was like the longest day of my life. I don't think that anything ever prepares you for that day. After surgery, I remember going up and looking at her and thinking, okay, this must have been the beginning of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel that people always talked about, because this is the day that's gonna change our lives, hopefully for the better. And it did, because 2 days after having heart surgery, she was a brand new baby. Things started to get better really fast. When we went into heart surgery, she was 13 pounds. At her 6-week appointment, she was 20 pounds. She started to sit on her own. And after that, she took off. After crawling, then it was walking, and then she just started doing like normal kid things.
You can just tell she's stronger. She's very, very independent now, like almost too independent, like, you still need me.
After having her open heart surgery, I saw that the American Heart Association does a heart walk in different cities, and the heart walk for Indiana is always in September. So we all got together and we made her a team, and I shared it on my social media, and friends shared it with friends and coworkers, and it has just become like a thing that we do every year and that we do for her. When a lot of people think of like heart disease, we think of like something that happens later in life, but we don't always think about babies. Thanks to all of the research that had been done before, I think it's made it a lot easier to make surgeries like the one that she went through so routine, and what has allowed these kids to now be able to live normal lives.
Look at her. She's healthy. She's striving. You know, it's my little girl. I'm just happy for her.
Your baby's gonna show you how strong they are, and not just them, they're gonna show you how strong you are.